right, everybody. So basically what we're going to do today is we're going to walk through every single step-by-step, unedited, exactly how to get your website ranked at the top as a real estate wholesaler or investor. And pretty much how I have this set up is I have this checklist right here that I'm going to put a link below so you can download that. And basically you can download this entire checklist so you can have the same thing. And I'm going to run through all of it from scratch from a carrot little website that I created temporarily for this video. So pretty much we're just going to go through very basically. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. And if you want me to do your SEO for you instead, feel free to hit the link in the description and I'd be happy to chat with you as well. But with that being said, it's very, very simple. Obviously, SEO is simple, but it's definitely not easy, and it takes a lot of different things. But I'm going to show you literally what 99% of SEO is with this one checklist. Obviously, there's a lot of different things that you can do to actually get ranked, but this is how I get ranked, not only for myself, but for all of my other clients all across the country. And so the first thing I wanted to go into was developing our target market site structure. And kind of how you do this is I always like to pick where we're going to target our website, because obviously you can't go too big of a place right away, especially if it's a brand new website, because we're not going to be credible enough to actually rank there. So I want to put us in the best position possible to actually rank in a really, really good spot. And by doing that, you need to make sure that you are using your homepage. Reason being is because you want to make your homepage the one that's going to rank for your top level area. So for example, we're going to choose Nashville today as our top level area, meaning we are going to create our homepage on our Nashville website, exactly everything we need for SEO purposes. And because the homepage is going to be the easiest to get up to the top, the cheapest, and the quickest throughout everything. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to use that as a reference throughout the video. So if you have any questions, like I said, feel free to hit the comments and I would be happy to respond to you as quick as I can. So basically how I'm going to do this is when I look at, the competitors, is when I go to Sell My House for Cash Nashville, I'm seeing all these different things. And obviously, you're going to see competitors. And the first two competitors that I see is My Tennessee Home Solution as well as $2.99 Cash, okay? And if you notice, most of them are using, and honestly, a lot of the companies that you guys are going to face, maybe this SERP looks a little bit different than normal. SERP, that means just search engine results page. This just looks a little bit different than most. However, I want to go off my top guys. So whatever they're doing is going to be what's going to get you to rank. And as you can tell, they're also using their homepage. And like I said, it's just going to be a lot easier and quicker to do this, because if you try to build a statewide page right away, you can. It's just going to take a heck of a lot longer, be a lot more expensive, and it's going to be a lot more work at the end of the day. But you can do it. But I'm just a big fan of making sure that my website is completely surrounded by the area that we're trying to actually do deals in. So Nashville is a great metro area to build off of. And so when we're looking at this, all I'm doing is just looking at who the top people are. And obviously, as you can see here, I chose the top two people. And you can see with my sheet that I'm also going to make downloadable in the description. You can download this on-page sheet that I use. Now, I can't take credit for this. This is my good friend Ronald Osborne from Osborne Digital Marketing, who provided me with this sheet. And so feel free to download the copy below that I'll provide, but I want to give him credit as well. Give credit where credit's due. This is a great sheet that I've used and I still use for all of my competitors. And there's a lot that I'm going to break down here. You can see there's a lot of just density, word count, all this stuff around here, and I'm just going to break down exactly what it needs to be along with LSI. So we can pretty much break it down at that point. So okay, we've developed our target market site structure, and like I said, just choose your homepage to be whatever the top city in your area. For example, I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's not a very big metro, but my homepage is all about Sioux Falls because all of my competitors are using their homepage as well. So we just have to do that. And so if you're in, like St. Louis or Tampa, Florida, I would do the same thing. If it was me starting a website, I'm putting my homepage all about Tampa, all about St. Louis, right? If that makes any sense. And so we'll move on now to step number 2, which is analyzing competition. So obviously we've chosen, okay, who our top competitors are, and this is $2.99 Cash as well as My Tennessee Home Solution. Now, what do we really need to know before we actually start creating content? Because as you can see on the checklist, you find a few different things, and all of a sudden you're creating content very beginning in the beginning of the steps. And there's a lot of reasons for that, and we'll kind of get into that. However, analyzing competition, we basically in the beginning just need to know exactly what their word count is, as well as how many headers they have. And as you can see, I have down here exactly how many headers they have, and I'm going to show you exactly how I find this. So, for example, my Tennessee home solution, I use a free Chrome extension called SEO Quake. It is a great Chrome extension. It is, like I said, it's for free. You can get it on the Chrome store, and you can have it. And it's going to give you all the word counts and the densities for your competitors. And this is going to be very important later on. So as you can see, 2690, I can put it over here. It looks like it read a little bit different when I prepped for this video, so we'll just do that. We'll do 2690 and then 299 cash. We will do this as well once it actually loads. Let's see. We will do this as well. Why is it just tripping right now? Okay, let's see. All right, so now we're going to see this 1840. Okay, so the readings are just a little bit different. Sometimes that's just how it is, but close enough. Obviously, your average is going to be 2265. Okay, so now I'm going to explain this here in a second, so you'll see what I'm exactly talking about, what I'm doing here with these word counts, as well as I noticed that the header counts were 18 and 65. So, for example, I use a different Chrome extension, SEO Pro extension by Marketing Syrup. This is also free in the Chrome store. Go in here and count the exact amount of headings they have, and you can see what their headings are and everything like that. So you can go and check this out as well. So we're going to go over here, and obviously I have it written down as 18 headers, and then we're going to go to my Tennessee home solution as well, and we are going to look at headings. And obviously you can see he has quite a few, and ended up counting them up to 65. Okay, so 65, and I think I might actually even have these switched around. So I'll 18, 65. So we're obviously, on average, we're going to need around 41 headers. Now, how we're going to do this is when we create our content, we're going to be able to create the amount of headers and the word count. So for example, this is what our page on average needs to look. Obviously, it can be a little bit more than this, but I wouldn't recommend it being a little less than this, but you want to hit it a nail on the head on the average. With SEO, the main thing is, with what we're doing right now, which is on-page SEO, which, like I said, is about 90% of SEO. If you don't have good on-page, you simply won't rank. It's the easiest and saves you a ton of money to rank. And so when you do this, you just have to make sure that your website actually has 2265 words on it, minimum. I wouldn't go higher than this person, right? I wouldn't go any higher than that, okay? I would definitely try to stay in the average, try to stay as close as you can. I would definitely be aiming for like 23 to 2400 here, okay? And it's very important. Google's very picky when it comes to this, as well as our header count. So now what we have done is we have analyzed our competition. We've essentially got just our basics down. We've gotten the word count down. We've gotten the headers down. Now what we need to do, what's left to now create our website content, is to get LSI keywords. And kind of how I do this, as you can see, there's a lot of different keywords and it doesn't really make sense. So let me break it down here. Pretty much when I look up keywords like sell my house for cash in Nashville, how I kind of do it is I go to images and I look at these little words right at the top. Google literally gives you LSI keywords, or latent semantic indexing is what it actually stands for. But it's all these little words up here that basically what that is essentially it is words that are related to the keyword you're trying to rank for. So for people who are ranking for sell my house for cash in Nashville, they have these words in here. They're telling you, literally giving it to you on a silver platter that says, all the people who are ranking for this term use these words: Tennessee, home buyers. Obviously, what I will say though is don't use company names. This obviously is a company name. Cash buyers, buys houses, real estate, Nashville, Tennessee. You get my whole point. And so it's all of this. And basically what you can do is you can go through multiple different keywords like sell my house for cash, sell my house fast, cash home buyers, and really whatever keywords we're trying to rank for, which realistically what I did here for was I'll even write this down just so you have this: sell my house fast. Then I'm just going to do this so when you guys actually copy this, you'll remember what I'm talking about. We buy houses. And then I also did cash home buyers. Reason being why I chose these 3 keywords is because if you're able to rank for these 3 keywords, you're going to be able to rank for all these other long tail keywords. So for example, I got a lead a couple of months ago that I talk about all the time that we ended up doing a 25K wholesale fee on. And it was a lead that I asked them, of course, like always, how'd you find me on Google? What did you end up looking up? And he ended up looking up realtors who buy houses, right? Now, obviously, this is a keyword that is not common, and really no wholesalers or anybody is really going for this keyword. I mean, and that's the unfortunate reality of our niche and industry of getting motivated sellers from Google is every single motivated seller that I've talked to, very rarely have they ever looked up the same key term for the multiple that I talk to every single month, which is pretty insane in our industry. Because if you're in an industry like lawn care, it's very simple. Obviously, you know that lawn care and whatever city you're trying to rank for is probably the top keyword. But if you rank for these 3 keywords, you're going to do very, very well all the way around. And that's when you're going to get a lot of motivated sellers when you rank for the best keywords. But not only that, but also the long tail keywords. And it requires you to rank for these 3 first before you can rank for all the tiny ones as well. And so that's something to keep in mind. And that's exactly where I got all those words to write our content with, is right up here at the top. So now we have found our LSI keywords and entities. Now, here is the fun part, is creating website content. I'm going to do this with you guys here, and pretty much what we're going to do is I'm going to use the power of ChatGPT. Now, what I'm going to say discretionary, because a lot of people are going to probably sit here and think, well, really, like, you're going to write your content with ChatGPT. Yes. However, it's obviously going to be switched up a little bit. You want to optimize it to the best of your abilities to make sure that it's actually written very, very well. And so I have a script that I use quite a bit that's gonna do this. But honestly, if the numbers are there, they work just fine. AI content nowadays is very common, and so it's not anything where you have to go in and handwrite, take all of this data that we have here and try to handwrite it and follow all the averages with headings and word counts and everything like that. And so what I'm going to do is simply use a simple blank page to do this. It'll be very simple, and we're going to do this, it'll be fun, but it takes a while. And so what I'm going to do right away is these 3 headers. So I'm going to say, sell your house fast in Nashville. This is always my go-to right here, is the top 3 headers right away. They're going to be the first 3 things that I write. We buy houses fast for cash in Nashville. And I'm going to take out actually in right there. Sell your house fast in Nashville, Tennessee. We buy houses fast for cash in Nashville. Then what you do, get a fast and free cash offer. I'm going to say for your house. All right, so now we already have 3 headers right there. But basically what I'm doing at this point is I am creating my headers first, right? Because we need to make sure that we have the amount of headers that we need. So for example, it's saying we need to have 41.5 headers that we're actually going to use in our page. However, this is a little bit skewed because we have 65 headers here, 18 headers here that are ranking. So realistically, I'm only, for example purposes today, going to do 20 headers, or 20, and then I'm going to say paragraphs. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this average, so 2265, divided by 20. So we're going to have 100, and let's call it 14 words per paragraph. Because I'm always, if you're going to at least be on this average, you want to be over the average and not under the average. And so it's pretty simple from here. We're just going to go ahead basically at this point, and pretty much just write out our headers first, and we are now going to write our paragraph content. So we already have our 3 right here, and that does not include the 20 of the list. So pretty much we have to just make up 20 headers. And obviously this is going to go really slow, so I'm kind of going to go fast through this. And if you need to double X the speed or whatever you need to do to make this not so boring, go ahead and do that. You can triple X it, whatever you got to do, because it's going to make it a lot faster, because I'm basically just going to go through, like, this is completely raw, just letting you know, unedited, like this is, I'm talking out loud to make sure you guys understand of where this comes from, because there's so many steps to go through. So I'm going to make our first header, and how I typically do it is I like to go off of our entities here. So one thing I like to do is I'll do top local home buyers in Nashville, 1 header. Bang. Now, and I'm just simply doing that because I use this. I like to use these as headers because why not? Headers are very, very powerful in your content, and so you need to make sure that you have good keywords in them. And obviously, I'm going here right away. And so, we buy houses, fast for cash in Nashville, TN. Actually, I'm actually going to say top rated. Then I'm going to go to our third one. Let's see what I'm going to do here. House buyers. I'm going to say choose your let's see. House buyers. What can I do here? House buyers. Local house buyers in Nashville. And I'm going to usually say, in this case, if I'm doing it for somebody who's been in the game for a while, I'm going to say for 5 years or something. Or you can also do, for example, 20 years. I'm going to say top best cash house buyers in Nashville for 20 years. Now we're going to do this. Let's see here. We are going to do property. Let's see. Tennessee home, estate agent. Choose us to sell your Tennessee home. All right. So now we have 4. So we got a little ways to go. Let's see here. Estate agent. Sell your house for cash without a realtor. 15 more. Most reputable Tennessee home buyers. Home buyers. It was one word, but it's going to read it the same. All right. Tennessee cash. Process of selling house in Tennessee for cash. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 13 more. Get a fast cash offer for your Nashville house. And obviously you can see that I'm kind of doing this unorganized, but this is where we're just simply going to get the content in here first, because with the checklist, you can see we're going to create our content, and then you're going to get the website fully designed if you so choose to do that. As well as then after that, we're going to simply do everything. And then as you can see here in this step right here, where then we finally get to final overall homepage, where we're finally going to get to this step, and it's really going to break down our content. We just got to get everything on the website first. That way we can really compare what we have compared to our competitors. But at that point where we got the word count in the headers, was simply just a preface for, okay, this is how we're going to write our content. It's just going to save us a little bit of time down the road. So now we are going to keep going here. Condition. Try that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's see. Okay, cash offer, house fast, property. No matter the property, we will buy cash. Nashville. Keep forgetting the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we are halfway there. We buy houses. Let's see, like this. Behind on your mortgage. We can help. All right, so we'll keep going down the road. Home buyers. Since 2015 or something. We'll just do that. Obviously, line it up with whatever this one has. This is, of course, example purposes. That was fast. My best option. Rate. So your pay no realtor fees. All right. Cash buyers. All right, so now we've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we need 4 more. And then we'll start making our paragraph content, which is easier than the headers, in my opinion. So we get here. Let's do this now. Kind of go from the top again. Sell your house in any situation. Right, 17. Get a quick cash offer for your house. 2 more. Home buyers cash. Let's think of 2 more here. Now I'm getting to 2 more. All right. One more. All right, so we now have 20 headers. So now at this point, we're going to make our paragraph content. All right, so it's going to go in the paragraph here. And then basically what we're going to be able to do is able to save this. I'm going to save the draft here, obviously, so that doesn't trip out on us. That would be terrible if I had to redo this. This is going to be a long video. But now we save that. So now I'm going to use nice old ChatGPT here. And I'm going to say a nice prompt that says, all right, I'm writing website content for my company called House Buyers Nashville, where we buy houses for cash in as is condition fast. And then I'll say where we buy houses for cash in as is condition fast. All of the content in this thread will be website content talking in the third person. Write me an intro paragraph for our website with the under the header then we'll go back to here. We'll say top rated local home buyers in Nashville. I'll just copy this. And make it in one paragraph around 114 words, including keywords below. And I'm just going to take these and just kind of, actually, I tell you what, I'll do this. Actually, what I'm going to do, change to first person. We're going to do this, see what that looks like. Elite. Never mind, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. Like I said, we're going to keep this. Dedicated making with deep roots in Nashville, we specialize. I'm going to say we. Reliable solution. All right, great. Love it. So now, on to the next one. Great. Now we're going to do the same thing and make it for the header titled please make it around 114 words and use the keywords below. Paragraph around 114. All right. Let's do this. I'm going to change to third person, my bad. Change to third person. Great. Now do the same thing for the header. All right, we're going to do this. Now we can get a little bit faster with this. And then we're going to just do the keywords now because it should be good and it's not going to mess up on us. Homeowners choose our team. Save the draft here. Otherwise, if I lost that, that would be tragic. It's going to take a while. Like I said, this is going to be a long video here. Let's see. The content finally for everything on this blank page. So now what we're going to do literally is I'm just going to send it over to the designer, and that's where you're going to get the website designed. In this case, I'm not going to get it professionally designed. It's just going to take too long for the video. So I'm just going to use the carrot design, which also works very, very well. I'm just going to get it inserted in the content properly, and basically all they're going to do is just, mess around with it, make it look really nice, and that's just not my thing necessarily to do. I just don't want to spend my time on that necessarily. necessarily. So in here though, what you want to make sure is before you get designed, obviously make sure it's lined up with your logo. Make sure you have house photos all over the website, as well as gathering a headshot of yourself. Okay. Very important that we have that. And then, so once we have that, then you'll get it designed. Once you get the design back, you will now be ready to go to get on to the part 2, which is going to be basically doing everything else and all the little stuff, which is a heck of a lot easier because getting your content on there is the hardest part. So I'm going to have this thing designed. We'll go into part 2 of exactly how to get this thing live with the proper way. But obviously you can see with the content, it does take some time, but you want to make sure that you just get content on the page. I want to preface, it does not have to be perfect. It does not need to be this number. It does not need, nothing needs to be perfect with this, okay? So just as long as you guys understand that. So we'll get on to part 2. Basic Carrot website layout design, don't have any videos or anything designed with it, but inserted all the content that we created. So as you can see, just for basic purposes here, I have all the content at the bottom. Now, this obviously isn't ideal. You want to make it look a little bit nicer than this, but basically I want to get to the point where we are setting up our keyword density. So how I'm going to do this is basically I'm going to go through every single one of these and just show you exactly what I'm talking about and just see the adjustments that we need to make. Now, I'm not going to do this totally because this takes a pretty long time to actually do this correctly, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do this properly so that when you're setting up your website, you know exactly what's going on and how to do it. So basically, what you're going to do is I'm going to start off with Nashville. You're going to go ahead and you're going to type in or click on the URL. Click on both of these URLs. And I'm going to use SEO Quake like we talked about before. Oh, interesting. Let's see this. I bet it's just a fluke. 299cash.com. I bet that's what it is. Yep, there we go. So SEO Quake, go in here, page info. Like I said, this is free to use. And here we have our keyword densities. So Nashville, for them, we have 0.94. And basically what this means is it is basically just telling you 0.94% of the time it is using the word Nashville out of all the 1840 words that they have, right? So it's very simple. It's really, don't overcomplicate this and don't get too far with this. But I'm going to open up this as well for this company. And look at what they have Nashville as. They have 1.15. Okay. And basically what we're doing is we're just trying to average out how we can do this. So I'm going to now go to our page and see where we're at. And you're just going to be honest, you're going to be sometimes off. Like this is a little bit high, 1.99. Now, in this case, I don't mind it just because it's obviously there's a lot of other plays that factor. It's a little bit over optimized. However, sometimes that's not a bad thing. I'm definitely going to rather be over optimized than under optimized. So for example, like if you're at like the 0.7% of the time you're using the word Nashville, that's an issue, right? I'm changing that for sure. But then obviously word counts, I want to make sure we have our word counts in here properly. 3469. Also a little high. But obviously, like I said, I'd rather be over-optimized. I can always take out paragraphs. I can always take out words. But as you can see, this is going to automatically do this for you, where it's going to show you the automatic average of what it's going to take when your competitors are in there. But yeah, like I said, shout out to Ron for making this. This is an awesome sheet to use, and I still use it to this day. So we're going to go in here as well, 299 cash. House, they use it 1.18% of the time. Tennessee Home Solution, they use house 2% of the time. We'll just do 2.01. And then where are we at? Let's see. House 2.57. So yeah, we're just a little bit over optimized, which like I said, is fine. Like you can always go in and take content out if you want to be a little bit more average. Now in this case, these guys are getting a lot of brand traffic. They have a ton of backlinks. They have all this. So like I don't hate the idea of being a little bit over optimized in the beginning. However, it's best to usually be a 1.5 times standard deviation above the average. And so in this case, I would probably want to be closer to a little bit less than 3,000 words and a little bit less than currently where we're at right now when the average is 1.6. But obviously in this case, our other competitors too. So 2.57, I don't hate that. 1.15. I don't hate that either. So like being over optimized is a little bit better than being under optimized, but you want to get to this as close as you can because it's definitely going to help you out quite a bit. Just depending on the competitor, how much brand traffic they're getting, how other ways they are ranking from SEO, because obviously on-page plays a big part. However, sometimes brand traffic, a lot of backlinks, a lot of this, that, whatever, can skew the data. And so sometimes on page, obviously it's one piece of the pie, but it's the biggest piece on the pie, right? So that's pretty much how you do it. Obviously, in this example, I'm not going to go through all these because this is going to take completely forever. And so you're just going to go through all these and put in the density. And as you go on, you want to just simply just make sure, okay, to fix your density, you either just have to take away this word more often or you add the word more often, right? And usually how I do this is I'll just go in here and maybe I'll just try taking out, like for example, if you're too over optimized, I'll just take out 3 or 4 of these paragraphs and see what happens. You always still have them, right? You have them in ChatGPT, you have them wherever. So just try that. That's usually what works very, very good here in this case. So then we'll move on here. You're also going to do the same thing with headers, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this as well. So I use a different Chrome extension for this called SEO Pro extension, like I mentioned before. You're going to go in headings, and right here in this, you're going to say export headings. And you're going to be able to go in here, and I'm going to be able, once it actually loads, to see exactly what is going on here. So then in here, you're going to show this, and it's going to have, okay, how many times we used the words Nashville. So for example, I can go in here, Nashville, 11 times, right? So you can go in here for your page and do the same thing. House. So we use the word house 9 times, right? And you're going to go in here for all of your other competitors and do it for all their headings as well, for all these key terms, how many times they use We Buy Houses, you know, their density and all these key terms as well. And so you want to go in and just put in their amount of times they use these keywords in the headers as well as their keyword density. Then in here, internal links and backlinks, I'm not too concerned about this at this point. But also the next thing is just keyword header count, okay? That's going to be a very big deal as well. And obviously that's using this extension as well. And we counted this before, so we have 31 headers on our page, okay? So we have 31. This is obviously from a previous, or let's see, 41.5. I don't know what that's from. I think this might be from the same one. So we have, okay, so we have 31 headers. So we have 31 headers in this case, and so obviously I think we're pretty spot on there, so I don't mind it, but obviously that's something header count, keyword density, word count, and header density is going to be the biggest factors in here. Obviously backlinks we're going to get to in the later on, and as well as internal linking, we're going to get to that as well. Images I don't worry too much about. Schema I don't worry too much about. Schema is basically when you go in here, and it'll show you, this also pulls it, where you can go in here with schema, and you can pull in, it's going to say website, local business. It's all these pieces of schema, which is a whole nother lesson for another day that I wouldn't worry too much about. It's basically just adding in code to your website in the back end to make sure that it's actually hooked up properly, and it can tell Google, basically it's just like a glossary for Google, basically just telling them, hey, this is what the website's about, just so it's easier for them to classify it. It's really no big deal, but obviously it's nice to have as well. But images, image count, I'm not too concerned about this. Like I said, we're going to get on the images here in the next list here. So as we go on, we've designed it. We've optimized our content, theoretically assuming that you did everything correctly. You've matched up your densities, word count, header count, everything, every header density, schema, everything like that. You've done all that, so you've optimized it now. Usually what I like to do is now I like to go in my content and I like to add some external links. And so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to update this, and I'm going to go in here and edit my website. And I'm going to usually use this, and I use external links because it's nice to have. And basically what an external link is just linking to a source outside of a website that you don't own. So I'm just going to look up Nashville, Tennessee. Let's see what we're working with. So usually a good one, you can just use Wikipedia. It's kind of the lazy version of this where you can just, it's an easy source where you can just go in here, click link, add this in here, bam. Now you have an external link, and you're basically externally linking to relevant sources. So I like to look up Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville.gov, great one to do. Go in here, and I'm going to add like 3 to 5 of these just for an example. There we go. Nashville.gov. All right, Nashville, Tennessee, real estate homes. That's a great one to do as well. We can do this. All right, so we'll just do 3 just for example, but that's external links. Typically on any page, I'm adding 3 to 5. And depending on what your competitors have, like for example, if we look in here, we can go to links and we can see that they have 12 external links. So it's obviously going out to, it looks like a different page here. This is kind of a little bit skewed. The main ones I want to look at is like, okay, there's socials. So this is a big one. Is external links as well count as your social medias? You want to link out to your social medias as well, because this is very important. Google can link all them together, and especially if you get traffic from these places and from Facebook and YouTube and all these places, it's going to help you rank higher because Google can detect where the traffic is coming from, and it's only going to help you. So as you can see, they only have their social medias and a couple other links. That's why I like to add, just 3 to 5 relevant links that are, something to do with the area you're trying to rank for, and then your social medias. That's pretty much all I'm doing in this case, is just that, which I might have on here in a separate place, but I'll just add that in there. Now what we're going to do is go over meta title and description. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to go in here, and you can go to the bottom of the page on this, which is nice to have, and it's going to show you right here where meta title. You can go in here and take this away, but you can just go in here, sell your house fast in, I'm going to say Nashville, TN. And then something I like to do too, just to get a little bit more of a benefit for a different keyword, is we buy houses cash, right? Nice to have. I always like to do that. This honestly is pretty good. You can change this. Something I like to do is need to sell your house fast in Nashville, Tennessee. We buy houses no matter the condition or situation. Fair cash offers are guaranteed. Call us today. That'll be just fine. Nothing too crazy. Something I'd add in here is maybe choose your local Nashville cash, I'll make it lowercase, cash home buyers. That's the only thing I'd really change, just to add a little bit more of a keyword stuff in there. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. You just want to make sure you make it simple here. Sell your house fast in Nashville, TN. We buy houses cash, and meta description as well. So we have that done, which is good. Then creating location pages and UR slugs. Kind of what I mean by that is going in here, and I'm going to go out to my actual dashboard. We're going to go in here, and I'm going to show you what I mean with Carrot. This is why I recommend Carrot so much. It's just they do all the hard stuff, like even that I don't like to deal with. Obviously, I have developers on my team, but I mean, it makes your life so easy. Well, all you have to do is you can just click this button here that says duplicate. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically make a duplicate page of this. And basically what you can do as well, as you can see these little codes in here, and you can add these. The in Carrot, you can go in here, and they have a bunch of codes where you can do market state, market city, market county. Whatever the case is, you can add codes anywhere on the website. And when you go down to here, and you can go in here and say, override market settings, I can go in here and say, I can do Knoxville. Right? I can change the city name to Knoxville. And now what it's going to do, and then I'm also going to change, and what I mean by URL slug is I'm just going to save this as a draft, and I'm going to go back and show you guys kind of how to do this as well. But actually, I can do this in here too. You're going to go in here, and it's going to say slug, home to. You want to say Knoxville, or you can do sell my house fast Knoxville, right? You can do something like that. That's what I always like to do, is just make sure that you have your URL slug in place. It's just going to help out, because that's very important when getting something linked, right? So we're done with that. So you can create any location pages that you want. Typically, when your homepage is your top city of metro market, like Nashville, you're going to want to go on the map and just see, okay, top cities in Nashville by population. And you're going to see exactly what's out there. So like these, Franklin, Goodlettsville, Hendersonville, these are all clearly suburbs. And so it's going to show you the population of these. Obviously, they're not very big, but you can just see it's nice to have, because as you can tell, at the bottom, you can see exactly where Google, when they allow your location, when you allow them to see where you're at location-wise, it's going to only give up relevant sources to that specific city. That's why, for example, if someone looked up a term that says cash home buyers near me without the city name, it's going to give them sources that are closest to them, and proximity is going to play a huge part with that, even with their website, right? So that's very important that we make sure we create these location pages in these certain areas, just in case there is some traffic here. Then what I like to do is I like to create supporting content. Now, a lot of people think way too hard about this is like making blogs, doing all this is going to get you ranked. That's not true. Making blogs and all this does not get you actually ranked. What gets you ranked is relevancy and credibility. In this, like, blogs are a massive, massive myth. However, you still need supporting content, as what I like to call it, rather than actual what I call, daily blogs. I don't think that's necessarily, the best use of your time. So all I typically do here in this situation is I would typically just duplicate something like this draft. We can duplicate this, and I can show you the example. Duplicate it, and it's going to open up, and then what we can do is, obviously, I typically like to use the designed one. I kind of accidentally clicked on this one, but what I can do is we can just select all this. Start with a blank page here. Sell your house in foreclosure, Nashville, TN. And then in here, you can use ChatGPT to write you a blog that says how to avoid foreclosure in Nashville, TN. And then when you do this, you want to make sure that you link back to your homepage. So for example, if I wrote this and I wanted to link back to my page, you can always just click this and you can go to your home too, and it's going to automatically link it back to your homepage. That's what I'm always going to do. It's just make sure that it's always linking back to your homepage, and just making sure that you have that, because that's where interlinking comes into play. I have other videos that talk about interlinking. You just want to make sure, and I'm going to write this down in the checklist actually, that this is our priority page. So the first thing you want to make sure that is your top priority is your homepage. This is going to link out to your location pages, supporting content, external links, right? Then in here, the priority 2 is location pages. This is going to link back to homepage, link to supporting content only if written about that city. So for example, when we talked about top cities, like if you make a location page for Franklin, you don't want to link your Nashville supporting content to Franklin content. You don't want to do that. And then what you want to do is external links as well. Supporting content, homepage, and then link to other pieces of relevant supporting content. So for example, you want to make sure that it's linking to other things related. So like if it's Nashville supporting content, you want to make sure it's related to other pieces of Nashville supporting content, right? You don't want to do it for Nashville and then Franklin. It gets mixed up, okay? So you want to make sure that you do that. But otherwise, once you have the supporting content in there, all you need to do is really just go to the bottom of your page. So like if I go to Home 2, click Edit, I can simply just add a link down here that will show that I made supporting content about this. So I can just go to this, and for example, purposes, I'm going to go down here and just add a link. Here, let's do this. I'll just add a list. Fuck it. Let's do this. Okay. So Franklin, or foreclosure. I'll just do this. Foreclosure. And then I'll do this. Click on that. And then, for example, I'll just do stop foreclosure in Tennessee. Okay, so this is like linking out to supporting content when I say you want to link out to your supporting content, your location pages, and external links. We've already talked about external links. We talked about supporting content. You want to make a list for example, like Franklin. You want to make sure that you can select this, and then link it out to, obviously your Franklin location page, if that makes sense. And so that's just what I'm talking about, just so Google understands what you're actually trying to interlink, so you have that all done properly. Like I said, if you have any questions on this stuff, this is kind of a lot of information, feel free to comment below. Then what you want to do is optimize your filler pages. This is really only for like conversions. So meaning like when people visit your site, you want to make sure that they stay on your site for as long as possible, and you build as much reputability as you possibly can. So for example, when you go in here, like how it works, you want to design this and make it as cool as you can so that they're going to fill out the form. like reviews. You want to make sure you add your reviews in here. You want to make sure you add your frequently asked questions in here, and just make it localized to you. This is where Carrot, like for example, the stock image right here, which is fine. However, your conversions are going to increase drastically when you use a house in the background that is for Nashville and use a picture of you at a house or whatever the case may be, okay? It's going to just increase your conversions so much when you can make these pages, because these pages are not meant to rank, right? You're not going to go in and rank these pages anywhere. You want to just make sure that these pages are going to be very well done, looking great, and they look as local as possible, like adding photos and house photos and different things like that, where they realize, oh, this is a really local, reputable company. Whereas the homepage is going to be your best bet for making sure that you're going to get the leads in general. That's what we call your money page. And so that's where it's very important to make sure that we have our money page lined up and everything's good. Yes, we have photos in here and you make it look nice, but this is what we want to rank to get the leads. All these other pages, you're just making them look nice so that people fill out your form and they see you as a reputable source, okay? So if that makes sense, and that's really just design and everything like that. And we already talked about interlinking. So basically just making sure that your interlinking is done properly. You want to make sure your homepage is linking out to everything that it needs to, that I have listed here. Your location pages are only linking to what it needs to, and supporting content. When you interlink these properly, it's going to make sure that Google understands the prioritization of what they're actually trying to rank. So it's going to make your job a lot easier. So align headers and footers. Sometimes you can see in here, like the header where it has all of these header things. Sometimes when you make websites, it's not all down here, but obviously in Carrot's case, it's all lined up, so really nothing to worry about down there. Finalize overall homepage with the Excel sheet. We already talked about all that. But I actually mixed this up. Instead of optimizing alt text, that's where I got this mixed up. We're finalizing overall homepage. But optimizing alt text is basically like in here. You go to my Chrome extension. Let's see. SEO Pro extension, and then you go to images, and with alt, it's going to show you exactly what this is, like alt text. Sell your house fast in Nashville. How to sell your house for cash in Nashville, step 1. Carrot has these already in for you. However, what you need to do is you need to go in here, and you need to click edit, and all it is with these images is basically what alt text is just describing an image to Google, like what exactly it is. Like if you couldn't see the image, how would you describe it? So I'm going to go in here, and you're just going to click on the image simply just like I did. You're going to go down here. Usually, let's see, there should be something in here. Advanced. I wonder if it shows alt text in here. Maybe it doesn't do it anymore. Form ID. Why is it not showing it right now? That's weird. That's super weird. HTML anchor without spaces, make a unique web address. Oh, here we go. Okay. So it's just because I was on the hero for some reason. I don't know why they're not allowing that. But anyways, alternative text is just right here. You just go in here and change alternative text. So if you wanted to go in here to this photo, just click on the photo, and it's going to show alternative text here. And it's basically just, you want to put in their keywords. So typically the 3 keywords I'm putting in my alt text is sell my house fast, cash home buyers, and we buy houses, right? Just want to make sure those are in there. It's going to give you a good boost on the on page. It's definitely worth your time. So my apologies for skipping over that. However, next thing we're going to talk about is schema code. Basically what I like to do with this, and Carrot makes it very easy for you, is you can go in here and we can go to, let's see, the settings. And it's going to, I believe this is where we add backend code. And what you can do is you can add in code, analytics, some scripts. You can add in code in here. So as you can see, I have schema lined up. This is basically all it is where it's a local business where you can go in here and it's just telling Google, hey, I'm a local business trying to rank. How you do this is you can go to schema. Schema generator. And usually technical SEO is the best one. Like all you have to do is go in here. Typically what I'm doing with my schema is I just want to make sure, I mean, even though Google has, Carrot has some of these in here already, you want to make sure that you do as well. Like website, organization, breadcrumb list. These 3 are great. So as long as you have the website in here, organizations in here, which Carrot, I believe, automatically adds, you want to go in here and you just want to make a local business schema. So all you have to do is you click on local business, you type in the name of the business. So you just simply go in here and type in the name of that. And then what you do is you're just going to simply copy this, and all you have to do is go down here and then paste it in here in your head scripts, right? So then you just, for example, that's what that is, and that's all it's going to do. And then that way you can get to the page, and it's going to allow you to have a local business schema in there. But obviously we're not going to save this, so I'm going to go out of this. But otherwise, that schema, that's all it is just telling Google like what type of website you are. So website, organization schema, and local business schema is going to be nice to have. Now, form email and SMS notifications, as a lot of people take advantage of this because Carrot is so easy with this, where WordPress can get really weird with all this sometimes when you're developing forms. It's like way harder than it actually needs to be. However, when you put in here your phone, in here, it's automatically going to send the notifications to that phone number as well as the admin email. So whatever you set your email to be in here and your phone number in here, that's exactly where it's going to send your SMS and email notifications for whenever a lead comes in. You need to make sure these are correct, because if they're not correct and you don't get the lead properly, you are literally missing out on leads that you should be talking to. Anyways, moving on, domain setup. So pretty much custom domain. This is very simple, where I like to use what's called Namecheap. It's very good. They align with Carrot so well. And also, too, they don't have too much fees. Like GoDaddy, they always charge like, oh, it's $10 a year. And then all of a sudden you get to the second or third year, and all of a sudden they start charging you like $100 a year for that domain. It's just kind of ridiculous. And Namecheap doesn't up them on you. And I have a video that I'm actually going to link below too on how to set up your domain step by step. This is where you just simply have to go down in here, go to Namecheap, type in the domain that you bought, and then you'll go in here, and I have in the other video that shows you how to copy these records over to actually submit everything properly. And then automatic SSL certificate. This is just so it actually, if you've ever seen like when you pull up a domain or type your domain in Google and it says like danger, not connected or whatever, it has the red triangle on it. That's because it doesn't have this. Well, with Carrot, once you put it in, it automatically requests an SSL certificate and you're good to go, right? So your domain is verified. It has everything it needs to actually register and actually show up on Google. That way, when you type it in, it doesn't freak out and look really, really funny. So you have the domain set up there. Now what you need to do is you want to go into Google Search Console connection, which I also have in that video below. I'm not going to show it in there today, but in that video below, I show you how to add it into Google Search Console just to make sure, because that's going to show you exactly everything you need to know. How people are finding your website with queries, how many clicks you're getting, how many impressions you're getting, where your backlinks are, what type of backlinks you have, everything like that. It's going to be able to show you for free exactly how to do it. And so that's something that I would recommend watching, because I have a really in-depth video that's going to be a lot more helpful than if I did it right now with the domain I already have set up, where in the video below I have a blank domain that I restarted with and just put it in there as a brand new property. So you're going to want to watch that video below. Then lastly, we are now pretty much done with the on-page stuff. Now what you need to do is you're done with the on-page, and you need to now get to the back end of your website, because we've talked about relevancy. That's a huge chunk of the pie of getting ranked on Google. Saves you a lot of money, time, and energy, because it's going to be able to have a lot of relevancy when you do all these things properly. Yes, like all this is so annoying, and getting your content dialed in is so annoying, but I promise you, it's going to be worth every single penny and minute that you spend into on-page. But once you're done with that and everything's dialed in completely the way you need to do it, this is where this is very important, even though people bypass this quite a bit. Social medias and directories with your email or your business email. What you can do is you can go in and make your social medias. What I recommend, always, no matter what, is for your business. So for example, House Buyers Nashville, I'm going to go out there, make a business profile on Facebook for House Buyers Nashville, make a business profile on LinkedIn, make a business profile on Zillow, make a business profile on Twitter, Pinterest, any of these social medias and directories like Yellow Pages and Yelp. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make a business profile on all of these. And all you need in there is your name, address, and phone number, and website link, of course. And that's the most important thing, to make sure you have a website link in all of those, because when you not only is it going to help quite a bit when you get that link from them, but it helps when people are also clicking from that social media. So it's going to help out quite a bit when you do that. And so always, always, always the first thing you do when your website is done, make your social media profiles. Make your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your Pinterest, Zillow profile, everything. Make all these because it's going to boost your credibility insanely for a free way to do that. And so go ahead and make those. Very, very simple to do. Then what you do, once you have your social medias, directories, everything's set up, your on page is great, you're indexed on Google, everything's doing well, at that point, now you want to do what I start, helpareporter.com. Basically what this is you're going to go in here and it's going to show you, you're going to put your email address, typically what I would like you to do. So for example, housebuyersnashville.com. I would like you to put your first name at housebuyersnashville.com or whatever email your business domain has. Reason being is because when you have a business domain behind it, your conversions with these reporters are going to increase a lot more. So basically how this works is like if I have this set up and I go to my business email, pretty much what it's going to show is I'm going to go in here and all it's going to do is going to show you, like I have SOS in here as well, but help reporter, if I can actually have it pulled up properly, which this is a bad example, but you're going to go in here and it's going to show you, and I'll actually go into this. This is exactly what Haro is, but this is SOS, same exact thing. However, this is all it's going to show you. Is when you're in here, it's going to be like, okay, we are looking for queries for people who are looking to do all this, that, whatever, right? So looking for home warranty experts to weigh on whether a home warranty covers old appliances. Is there any other high-value clients? And as you can see, there's quite a few industries, right, that are going to be asking, but we want to go to the ones that are real estate related. So, for example, this one's saying, I'm working to write and form, I need U.S.-based industry real estate professionals, home warranty. Like, you could reach out to these people, and all you need to do is you can either email them or you can respond to their muck rack and everything like that, and you can just respond to their queries. So you just need to answer their questions. Do home warranties cover old appliances? And all these people are looking for is just really good resources to make sure that you are a good resource and you're a niche relevant resource that they can now write about and then link to you, right? Which is what we call a backlink, okay? And so this is very important that you get as many as you can of these. So when you sign up, you want to respond to every single one of these real estate related queries, and then you can get backlinks, which is then going to increase your website ranking because now we're getting into the credibility part. We've already done social media and directories. Now you need to start using this. The best part about this costs $0 to do. It's literally for free. You can get links from Yahoo Finance, from New York Times, and all these places for free, literally, from helpreporter.com. And so it's something for free you need to be doing. I do it for all of my clients, and I recommend you also do the same. So lastly, what we're going to do, I'm going to open up SEMrush, and we're going to do this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in a domain. Like, for example, let's see. I know there's one that's pretty good, that has a pretty good Ben buys indiehouses.com. Let's go here. As you can see, 887 backlinks. So what I'm going to do lastly is it's called backlink gap analysis. And basically what you're going to do is you're going through all of these backlinks and seeing which ones you can reach out to get yourself. As you can see, it's going to show up Better Business Bureau, Forbes.com, right? You can get that from Haro. Let's see here. You can make a Web 2.0, invest with Ben. But as you can see, you want to go through here and want to get as many of these as you can, like Wish TV. You can reach out and simply go in here and then, didn't want to do that. Let's see here. Let me go find it again. All you need to do is just go on there and you can go in there and then you can just contact the person who is in charge of press and you can go ahead and try and reach out to them. Like, for example, there should be contact us somewhere, follow us, but you get my point. You just have to go in here and look, and you have to find somebody who you can contact that is involved with press that you can go ahead and reach out to, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get an article similar to this, right? You want to do something like this that's going to get you a backlink back to your website, right? So that's all you're trying to do is get as many backlinks as you can, but not all backlinks are created equal. You want to make sure that your backlinks are as close as your competitors as they are. So if you're trying to rank in Indianapolis, go ahead and try and get as many of these links as you possibly can, right? However, you're not going to get all links, but that's what I recommend. Do helpareporterout.com and then go see what your competitors are doing and try to get those same backlinks like all these, because once you achieve that, you've pretty much done everything you need to know, right? So without further ado, I hope this made a lot of sense. I know this is a long video. I'm sure you have tons of questions. Like I said, this is just a good in-depth course of exactly how to do it step by step. Like I showed you everything, a completely unedited version of everything. And so go ahead in there, make your guys' website, follow along in this video. You can do it side by side and make sure you do all this properly. Use the checklist, watch the other videos I'm going to link below. Also, continue to watch my videos as I come out with videos all the time with SEO and all these others that is going to teach you a lot more and be able to get your results a lot faster. But otherwise, I appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, if you want me to do your SEO for you instead, feel free to hit the link in the description. I'd be happy to chat with you, get a free strategy call set up, see what it looks like for you. But otherwise, I appreciate you watching.